I don't want to be seen to agree too closely with the likes of Pat Condell or my favorite of the week, Mr. Geert Wilders, but I do tend to agree in some ways with what they have to say with regards to a certain breed of assertive Muslim, or one might even call them pseudo-Muslim, people along the lines of Anjem Choudhary and people like him, who seem to wear their beards and their Islamic clothing more as a vehicle for expressing their hatred than as an expression of a deeply held religious conviction. Again, my experiences in the Islamic world have led me to believe that Mr. Choudhary speaks for very few of the world's Muslims. They simply don't feel the same way he does. Which, again, leads me to think that for Mr. Choudhary, the hate comes first, the rage, and the desire to offend comes first. Then comes the religion. It's a dangerous combination. By the same token, I often wonder what people such as Pat Condell are doing, making such powerful statements in support of people like Mr. Geert Wilders, in the name of atheism, when Mr. Wilders is not an atheist. He's often seen reaching out to faith communities. The obvious example of that is when he was photographed wearing the yarmulke in an address to a Jewish audience in the United States last year. Mr. Wilders is not an atheist. He's attempting to cozy up to the Christian community of the Netherlands and the Jewish community in the West in general, and I presume he's probably trying to cozy up to the Christian community in the United States or in the West in general. What would an atheist have in common with this fellow? Well, unfortunately, what I see is xenophobia is something that they definitely have in common. Pat Condell comes across to me as a xenophobe, as do a number of people on the net who are self-professed atheists and couch their language, their xenophobic language, in the philosophy of atheism. But when you listen to what they actually say, immigration comes up a lot more than one might expect it to come up in a debate dealing purely with atheism. And it strikes me that a lot of people have actually started off as xenophobes and embraced atheism as a convenient vehicle for that, for their rage against anyone who they perceive as an intruder, or someone who is determined to upset the stability of their society, at least the society as they define it. I would say they define it very narrowly. But again, it's atheism of convenience, not of conviction, which is, I suppose, why you get people like Pat Condell lambasting Anjem Choudhary every chance they get, and at the same time, atheists cozying up to people like Geert Wilders, who really they should ostensibly have nothing in common with. When people say that they aren't racists, or that there are no racists in the atheist community, although I haven't actually heard anyone say that, but when people talk about immigration, talk about Western values, that sort of thing, when they're dealing with issues of atheism, I'm sorry, but I'm simply not convinced of the positioning of the cart and the horse that they are attempting to portray. Thank you.